Let's take a look at another basics of grammar concept entitled coordinating conjunctions. So coordinating conjunctions helps us to be able to establish rules for within sentence punctuation. So common usage for coordinating conjunctions and those terms include for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Oftentimes when I'm thinking about coordinating conjunctions, I will often use an acronym entitled fanboys. It helps me be able to recognize which words are coordinating conjunctions so that I'm able to make sure that I have the appropriate common usage within my sentences. Most students now at a college level are already using coordinating conjunction words. We're just not appropriately giving the comma usage where it's supposed to go. So let's take a look at a couple of examples of how coordinating conjunctions are used, how commas fit in with that whole equation, and where do you go from there, and what does it all mean? So let's give an example of nouns. You have apples, pears, and grapes. And so those are nouns, and you need to be able to separate those by commas. So you have apples, comma, pears, comma, and grapes. And so we appropriately put in those commas as needed alongside with a fanboy's word, the word and. So a pronoun is I, me, my, you, your, he, she, it, they, perhaps a person's name. So let me give you an example. Let's say that I say Miss Ortiz, Juan, and Jennifer went to the library to study. Well, I would need to be able to separate those pronouns, Miss Ortiz, comma, Juan, comma, and Jennifer went to the library to study. You can see I appropriately still had a coordinating conjunction word in there, and I appropriately had comma usage. Verbs, very similar, same thing here. And these are usually not very difficult. I went jumping, swimming, and diving. Jumping, comma, swimming, comma, and diving. Most of the time, most students are not making any discrepancies or any mistakes when having to separate these pieces. Usually the confusion comes along when we start talking about clauses again. And last week we talked about independent clauses as well as dependent clauses. Okay? So let's take a look at how these fanboy words are used. What do they really indicate? Where does that comma go? So if you're using the fanboy's word of and, or you're using the fanboy's word of nor, this is usually used to show an agreement between two items or clauses. Then you have the fanboy's word of yet and but, and those are used to show a disagreement between clauses. All right? And then you also have examples such as for and so. Those are used to show a reason. Let me give an example of this one. It was cold outside today, comma, so I decided to wear a coat. Well, the remainder of that sentence, which is an independent clause, is explaining why I'm wearing a coat. All right? And the last one, a last fanboy's word, is the word or. And this is really based upon the context of what it's used. It could either show agreement or it can show disagreement. All right? But you have to remember, when you use a coordinating conjunction word, remember the fanboys, to join two independent clauses, you must insert a comma before the conjunction. So let's take a look at an example. All right, I want to buy the new jacket, but it is too expensive. In the example, there are two independent clauses. Separately, I could have these sentences separated. But we're college level students, and we are not supposed to be writing these choppy, sentences without it having some type of complexity of how our grammar usage and sentence structure is growing as an adult. And so you need to combine those two independent clauses, whereby you use a coordinating conjunction word, and it shows disagreement. I want to buy a new jacket, comma, but it is too expensive. Well, the reason he didn't buy it because it's too expensive. It's a disagreement between the two clauses. All right? And so, with that being said, what I've done is I've actually put a brief activity inside of your Blackboard lesson so that students can be able to evaluate different coordinating conjunction words used to combine independent clauses together. And I want students to be able to look at this. It should be fairly simple for you to show, is this showing agreement between the two independent clauses? Is it showing disagreement? Is it used as a reason or explanation piece? So when you are writing, you know that you're pulling the right coordinating conjunction words and not inappropriately showing a contrast and writing it inappropriately. I do know that using coordinating conjunctions is extremely important as you are developing your writing, because the TSI test on the multiple choice will show that there are revisions to an essay, but did you know to put the comma for a coordinating conjunction? Further, when you're writing the essay part, did you appropriately revise and edit to make sure that you had the comma and the correct coordinating conjunction word? So I also put some additional links inside of your Blackboard course in case that you feel that you need more instruction beyond the PowerPoint and YouTube video and the activity itself. I want to see, is this information that you know? If you need more practice, there is more information there to be able to help you.